Hi! So, how do you split up body parts when you want to train? And how many sets and reps should you do? And how often should you actually train? Well, these have confounded athletes and bodybuilders especially for years, and it will continue to do so. The difficulty is that most bodybuilders really will actually be trying that one, and trying that one, which is great, which you need to do. However, what you need to do is monitor really closely what actually works for you. Now, just because this athlete over here maybe won a few competitions and does some training that is completely different to yours, but yours is working, don't get tempted to sort of drop everything you're doing and go and train like this person. Maybe that person's worked out, that's what works for them. Because you've got top pro bodybuilders over the last 20, 30 years. Some do 15, 20, 30 sets per body part. Some will do as little as 4 or even 5. But they're all standing on the stage. So what you have to do first of all is keep a really detailed journal of what works for you and then switch off a lot of the other stuff. Do your training for 3, 4, 5 months, assess how you're getting the results that you want as they stagnated, and then if they have, then start to tweak it. Here's a rule of thumb when you change things. Change one thing, whether that's adding more calories, whether that's reducing calories, whether that's going from 6 to 8 reps to 12 to 15 reps. Change one thing. Don't change everything, because if it works, you don't know which one worked. Okay, so how often should you train? Every other day is a really good place to go for about 95% of all bodybuilders and athletes, and even those that are taking some supplements to recover. Now, let's look at some of the top pros over the last 10, 20 years. Even with all of the supplements that they were taking in huge doses, most of them would train once a day. And most of those wouldn't train every day. Very rare would any of the top pros train 6 days a week. 4, 5 was pushing it. In the old days, it used to be train 6 days a week. And, you know, you've either got to be genetically gifted or it's special for you to really come out on top. Because if you get 10 guys all training the same 6 days a week, doing exactly the same, why is it that one stands out or 2 and the rest don't? Because we're all different. So how do you split up body parts? Again, I'm giving you a rule of thumb because this isn't a full training program. I actually hired a professional Mr. Olympia to help me finally get my top trophies. So here's a rule of thumb. Excuse me. Work 3 days a week. You do push exercises on one day, then you do squats and pull on the second day, and push and on the third day, which would be said Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The following week, of course, you're doing legs and pull twice a week. So it's working out every sort of 5 or 6 days, you're actually training that body part. So a rule of thumb is that train the same body part on average every 5th day. 7 is generally too long for most people. You know, the recovery's happened and then we're playing catch up. So about 5 days. Frank Zane would say the same. His was about 5 days. So how many sets and reps should you do? Well, this one again has confounded bodybuilders especially from the year dot, and will continue to do so. Again, it's trying to find out what works for you. But the rule of thumb is this: less sets is better than more, because it's about recovery. So I'm going to give you a little tip to try, and you can see if this works for you. You do 3 sets for your chest. That doesn't sound a lot. I won top titles on 5 sets. For legs, it was 5 sets, because that's what worked for me. Because we're always conscious of recovery. So how does it work? What you do is you do 1 set all out, but you're going to be getting 70 reps, 80 reps, 90. Yeah, if you're in that ballpark until your arms can't move or your chest cannot do anymore, then you've totally exhausted it. You've used a very light weight, so you're not in danger of hurting yourself. You've got a huge pump going on, so that's really gonna fill the area with blood, warm your ligaments, your tendons and the muscles, ready for set 2. Set 2 is your heavy set. Now, for most people, if you can really make a big jump to a heavy set, I'd suggest you just put one in between, about 6 or 7 reps with an in-between heavy weight before you do your all-out. Your all-out set should be about 8 to 10 reps, where on the 9th, 10th, you've completely failed, but you're using a really heavy weight. So you've got this huge flush and pump going on in your muscles, then you hit it with some real weight, then you do your 3rd set. And the 3rd set is a drop set. So you take your heaviest weight, reduce it by 10%, and then you go all out. Now you might get 6 or 7. Then you halve that weight, as many as you can, and then you halve that weight, as many as you can. You really want to try and get 6 or 8, then at least 10 on your second one, and really around the 15 mark on your 3rd. I absolutely guarantee that muscle is fried. What's the good thing about training like this is your brain says, I've only got 3 sets, instead of 10 or 15 sets on 4 different exercises. So let's say we take chest. You can do flies as your very first one. Huge number of flies. Then your second set is incline bench press, low incline. 3rd set, bench press. You can use dumbbells or you can use a bar. And that's it. Your chest will be super sore the next day. However, you haven't tapped into too much of your recovery process in your body. And it's about recovering. So it's about hitting the muscle and recovering. I guarantee if you try that, you'll think, is that all I have to do? 3 sets. And that in itself will lift your spirit instead of thinking I've got 20 sets to do. So do that. For your shoulders, you do 1 set of flies, 70 reps. Your next set of flies is 10 and then a drop set. That's it. And then you can finish off with some press-ups on the floor, which are going to fry the rest of your triceps. Your workout will take about 20 minutes maximum. So why is that a good thing? You grow when you're resting, not when you're training. You want to train as short as possible. Problem is, we really enjoy training, don't we? So we get caught in training longer, and then we find our gains go down. So if we train as short as possible and have as much rest time as possible, we're going to win. So that's how we really should do it. It's as simple as that. For legs, leg extensions, you need to be doing 70, 80, 90. And then if you want to go on a leg press or a hack squat, it's easier to do this type of training on those than actual free squats. And then what you do is you do heavy leg press, 8 to 10 reps, a couple of warm-up sets in between, and then you do 1 drop set. I guarantee your quads will be fried, sore for a couple of days. I've actually coached people to do this, and they were still struggling to walk almost a week later because they just went all out on 3 sets. So it's about recovery. So, hope those tips work. And again, this is definitely a sort of a mantra of less is more. Good luck and enjoy your results.